just having to think is too much damn work for you.
Hi, sir.
Uh-oh, he's asking me a question. Brain has to work, so I'll slow down. God damn, run! Run!
The Marine Corps, one of the most elite fighting forces that you would see, and you would not be mistaken, as where a lot of people have said that this is one of the last token true stances of what it means to be a war fighter in this century. However, it looks like there are some people that are saying this is a critical function that women must be integrated in every aspect of Marine Corps training, starting from boot camp. And we must not forget that this first was initiated only several years ago, where they had allowed drill instructors to come over to the West Coast, over to San Diego, where their boot camp training was at. And then on top of that, they had only said that they were going to still have these platoons that were going to be separated. And I even covered on this channel where it was shown that a dependent of a drill instructor, her husband, that was over at MCRD, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, was actually sleeping with one of the new drill instructors that was female. And a lot of people were saying this was exactly what would happen. And obviously I say that when an inch is given, a mile will be taken, from everything I've ever witnessed, usually in this case. But it looks like that Congress and other people are now wanting women to be implemented into every aspect of Marine Corps training. Let's see what they have to say. There was a Pentagon committee that released this report, which I will go over actually in more depth. There are 300 pages. I will cover what the Military Times has chosen to pick out from this, but I'm going to do a whole separate video series on this because there are several other things that were missed if you were able to read all 300 pages, and this is just one part. And this is the Defense Advisory Committee on Women in the Services. And they say that they are wanting to maximizing integration at the platoon level, develops the foundation of a successfully integrated force, according to the report. The report noted that gender integration at the platoon level is quotations critical to dismantling negative stereotypes and fostering positive inclusion across an organization. They say training separated by gender appears to have unintentional consequences to include perpetuating feelings that men are superior to women and promoting fear and suspicion of women, according to the report. I will say that this is something that is across the board, not whether you're in the military, outside the military, whatever. This is something that's continued to be an issue. And I don't think the military or the Marine Corps is going to be the science experiment that will eliminate this type of thing, especially when you're talking about even in a workforce, that's what we'll call this, a workforce where it's only single digits that women represent. So to try and push this is great, but I'm going to say, you might as well start in places where, I don't know, there's the 40%, 45% women versus how many men are there. That's just something I would say is probably a little bit easier from that standpoint. They say, however, the committee feels more integration is necessary to better prepare male and female recruits as they become Marines to operate within an integrated operational force and to better align the Marine Corps with its service counterparts. I will say that if these ideas were so great, the Marine Corps was creating up with certain ideas of discipline, fighting force, lethality, things like that, you would see some of those push over on the ebbs and flows, but we're not seeing that. We are only seeing ideas like this cross over into the Marine Corps. So a lot of people are saying that this is degrading the Marine Corps for what it actually stands, and kind of this ideology that they are a fighting force that is lethal and that they're going to eliminate whatever enemy is in front of them. The report said that using segregated platoons reduced the opportunity for recruits to develop mutual respect and cohesion for one another during the formative training process. I will tell you that I was actually in the Navy in an integrated platoon or division, you know, some people are different branches, that we essentially were only training together. When there's a training evolution, we were together. I don't think, honestly, it did anything that made me remember that I was with them. I don't think it added any value per se that I can think of. I can't even remember any of the people that I was with, their names that were female. So I will say from my anecdotal experience that it was really not any better than just doing training however the training was going to be done. And I'm not saying that just be contrary to whatever I'd say normative ideology of this is. It's just me sitting here telling you the blatant truth from my own experience. They say we have established a tried and true manner by which we train Marines that proves effective in transforming young Americans, Walker said. We break down their individuality and grow them up as a team. We're adamant about that outcome. Having the platoon model is absolutely part of that. And this is where I will say that, like, if somebody hates women or somebody has certain beliefs of this, I do not think 13 weeks at MCRD San Diego or Paris Island is going to be the make or break of that. I will say it may nudge the needle a little bit, but if you have Timmy that is from Mississippi and his parents were like, get in the kitchen, cook sandwiches and make my food and run this household while I go get the bacon or get the bread to bring it back home, he may only believe in that. And those people are probably more influential in their lives than a drill instructor and things like that. I'm not saying that they can't be influential. I'm just saying that I don't think this will necessarily be the thing that's going to move the needle, that women are now just seen as equals across the board. And what they're saying is that the current model of how this is broken down, where there are platoons that are all female and then they're all males, that because that they are broken down by platoons that make up a company, that most of the time they are not doing any training together. They are just in the same company together, but not actually integrating and mingling and things like that. Recruits in integrated companies do not have the opportunity to build strong bonds, respect, and cohesion with their opposite gender counterparts, according to the report. And they said the committee believes mixed gender drill instructor teams are essential to providing recruits training and mentorship from opposite gender role models as they prepare to enter an integrated operational environment, according to the report. And it says having gender assigned drill instructor teams hinders female drill instructors' ability to train recruits and promote to higher positions of leadership and creates unnecessary challenges for personal staffing. They say the committee believes the Marine Corps current integrated company model with gender-separate platoons does not meet a true definition of integration nor the intent of congressional legislation, according to the report. And really what I think a lot of people are scared about with this is that the fact that there are several different standards based on age, gender, and things like that. Now, I will say that the Marine Corps is very established in this ideology of rank structure and things like that, where I don't believe that just by putting a female in charge of them that that's going to make them any better, more disciplined as a fighting force. I'd say, if anything, I still think no matter what, it's still been proven how many decades before this that there were junior service members that could follow a female service member. I don't think that this is just the necessity. I would say if there is manning issues that are out there, I could understand that being a fighting case for this, as they can move bodies around a little bit more simply than just saying, oh, females stay with females. I do get that as being one of the positives from this situation, but I am not the biggest critic of this. There's people across social media that are talking about this in much more detail than I am, and they have a lot of concerns. And that is because Ranger Tough 666 says unless they establish one standard based on realistic expectations for the individual MOS, this is not going to work. Title Flux says identical PT standards are required for this to work. And this did come from some rebuttal of female Marines that actually came out, and there were a lot of people backing this person as well, and they had to say this. My anxiety _ has plants says, as a female former Marine, I say about D time. Boot camp was the only segregated experience in my military career. When I went through Marine combat training, it was an integrated platoon. In MCT for body hardening training, I was paired with a male because there weren't any females my size, 5'10". Both of my schools, A and C, were integrated. I was one of 2 females in each set of classes. We had a month in between classes, and we spent that time advancing our MMA skills, or I'll say MICMAB. That part taught me there are very different kinds of sore losers, especially when it comes to a physical competition between sexes. In my humble opinion, men need to start working alongside females from the start of military service onward. In my service, I came across many brothers who didn't behave like we were the same team. I feel those individuals are the ones that have a harder time reintegrating into civilian society because they've spent too many years being a part of a quotations rough man's world, reality bubble, and have no idea how to conduct themselves appropriately. I know other females may not have felt the same, but for every ounce of effort one of my male counterparts gave, I had to give too. I had to stay at the top of my game physically and mentally. No mistakes ever, because your reputation would go back to zero among your peers. Constantly had to punch my ticket to stay in the boys club. I'm rather proud today that at 40, after 15 years of being out of the military, I still fit my service uniform, still pass the PFT. Really, the biggest motivation to stay true is all that talk that went on during my service, and that continues to go on about females in the service. I'll be D if I turn into the globulous anger trolls you usually see male Marines turn into after their service has concluded. I can tell you guys that I'm not a female, so I cannot identify with a lot of the problems that come with that. But I will say that this integration type thing that's going on, I do believe that there's going to be a lot of resistance within the Marine Corps, because there was resistance already back in the early 2020s that we noted that the Marine Corps was establishing females going across over into the San Diego territory there. So, and I have to also ask, like, what point of this do we say that, like, you know, these men that are in boot camp have moms, sisters, cousins, whatever else, right? They were growing up through school with women in their classroom. I don't think that the 13-week course, whether they're integrated, not integrated, or whatever else, is the make or break. I will continue to say that because we'd like to say that these are monumental changes that are going on, but I don't think that they are. And I do know that there are people that are out there that are going to say that these women and men together are going to create distractions, which very well could. Hormones are flying. I've seen a lot of entry-level people into the military where those distractions do take up a lot of time and space, and people do get in trouble in boot camp over at Navy boot camp, Air Force, whatever else, because of those things. Also on top of that, how would that affect readiness or war fighting or whatever if somebody were to get pregnant, and those types of distractions as well. Not to mention other distractions that have been known to occur as well between drill instructors to recruit, or recruit division commanders to recruit, or whatever branch you're part of, where even that power difference can create relationships that are unduly familiar. So let me know what you guys think about this, because that's where the conversation continues. As always, if you guys like what I cover here on the channel, make sure you hit me up over on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.